Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to talk about the striker balances that they had on April 20th, just yesterday, for yesterday's maintenance. They did a few changes, and they've been doing changes like pretty periodically as they're trying to get the game back in order, so let's take a look. Falcon received an interesting buff where they buffed its overall durability, its max HP, physical defense, have both been buffed, and its fluid armor depletion cooldown has been reduced by 1.2 seconds, and its fluid armor regen has been increased. Its Aux 1 recon kit has an increased radius, and its Aux 2 has a better depression angle. Now, this is overall pretty unexpected, but I'm also not that surprised, especially given like the buffs they did to melee units the previous patch. I don't necessarily disagree with these. I think some of these are definitely requested, like the recon kit. And Falcon was definitely in a rough place, especially with the changes that were given to the melee. Gave them better chase. And if anything can pin a Falcon down, melees can have a pretty good chance of doing that. Skyraider received some buffs, with its instant fire interval in its bipedal form reduced by more than half, and its aerial assault form, its plane mode, was also reduced for its instant fire interval. Increased damage hitbox and charge shots, improving overall hit rate, and its energy missile has been adjusted to do more damage. Not too bad on Skyraider. I think the increased damage hitbox and charge shots is pretty interesting because I felt like it was already like pretty solid. So we'll see if these buffs make a pretty big difference, because I know I haven't played Skyraider since like the last round of buffs, but I know that the cooldown on Skyraider is always pretty rough. Alphard's sidearm, its rocket pod, got an adjustment where its fire interval is faster when its rapid assault is not active, and they removed the 1.5 second end lag after burst fire ends, so you could have a faster follow-up attack. Alphard's been through quite a roller coaster. It's had a lot of buffs, a lot of nerfs, mostly a lot of nerfs recently, so I think this might not be a bad idea. Because they're focusing on usability, and I think that would make it a lot funner to play. Sarinith received, now this might have people shotgun react to this. Sarinith's main weapon received a damage buff from 4,000 to 7,000, and an increased damage hitbox on charge shots, improving overall hit rate. The cooldown refund per second of early cancellation for its Aux 2, its defensive, its Skyraider jammer, has been increased from 2.4 seconds to 2.7 seconds. Minimum cooldown is now 4.5 seconds. Now, people might shotgun this and say Sarinith did not need to get buffs. I think with the melee buffs and the big nerf that they had to its Skyraider jammer, it was in a pretty rough spot, especially for like the average player, because like a melee could just like wail on them. And melees are pretty common to see, so I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing to have on Sarinith. The instant damage has been increased. That's gonna hurt a lot, but its Aux 2 still has been overall nerfed, so we'll have to see if this instant damage is too big of a buff or not. But some of the units that have a lot of trouble with Sarinith did get buffed, and we'll take a look at this later. Inferno's increased damage hitbox and charge shots, improving overall hit rate. They removed the 1.3 second end lag after the charge interruption, so the next charge or instant fire attacks are now faster. They basically made this overall more usable, like easier to use. I don't play Inferno a lot, but that end lag after your charge is being interrupted was pretty annoying. Its booster kit also made it so its lock-on immunity during activation ends upon deactivation. I think this is pretty big, because one of the biggest things that's like really annoying with Inferno is having to deal with this Aux 3. But if its lock-on immunity actually ends instantly, it means people can actually focus it down faster. But its Aux 3 is still really strong. So we'll see how much of an effect this is. Maybe people will notice and maybe they'll focus it down more. But maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just be like, I don't really want to deal with Inferno. And then they just leave it alone. We'll see what happens. Panther has a significantly reduced windup on instant attacks, so it can attack faster. Solaris's fluid armor regen was increased by 300 points. I think that's pretty good. Especially given the stealth changes where it's easier to track where Stellaris is. Freyr's Buzzsaw Shield got a nerf, where if it's interrupted early, its 1 second force stagger effect will also end early. I think that's pretty big, because that also means you can potentially save an ally that's being wailed on by Freyr. Aquila's base stats. It has more fluid armor regen. Its activation threshold when depleted has been reduced to 26%, and its energy regen on the ground has been increased. Its multi-lock kit, its Aux 3, no longer increases the fire interval of the mobile beam cannon while active. So they nerfed its overall damage, and they gave it more survivability. Combined with like the last patch where they boosted its survivability and like nerfed other things, I don't think this is the bad direction for Aquila to go. I think survivability has always been one of the rougher things that Aquila has to deal with, especially because if you're not experienced, you just kind of get farmed, so I don't think this is too bad. Hell got an increased lock-on range. It was always pretty short range. Its main weapon has a faster reload speed, and its drone's durability has been increased to 24,000 from 2,000. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm not a Hell player. I can't offer a lot of like insight on this. I do know that the pulse trap drones are pretty annoying to deal with. Before, if you had a Falcon on your team, it could just like radar things and just instantly blow up the drones. But now, if it's 24,000, it definitely doesn't seem that appealing to hit the drones, so I think this massively boosts its survivability, especially if there's something like a Falcon on the enemy team. They boosted its damage overall because it can reload better. Pinaka got an increased energy ground regen, so it can be more mobile. Luminae's fluid armor regen got buffed, and his fluid armor depletion cooldown has been reduced by almost half. It has basically greatly boosted Luminae's survivability, I would say, in regards to that. Tricera, Stego, and Hurricane all got sweeping defense buffs, with Tricera and Stego getting increased energy defense, and Hurricane getting increased physical defense and blast defense. If you don't know what blast defense is, that is basically, isn't that what they call melee? Shoot, I'm blanking out right now. It's early morning. Either way. So we're gonna circle back to the Sarinith buff. The instant damage has been increased. So this is gonna hurt basically like a lot of other strikers. It's gonna like hit pretty hard. But they also buffed the units that probably suffer the most from Sarinith because they have an extreme lack of mobility, Tricera and Stego. And because of their increased energy defense, even though they will take more of that instant damage, the residual damage from like the drop down explosion that Sarinith does will deal less damage to Tricera and Stego because of this increased buff. So it'll be interesting seeing just how much of an impact that's going to have on both of them in regards to that. Overall, I don't think these patch notes are too bad. I think that they are still focusing on general usability. I think Falcon, the buffs are pretty interesting. I wasn't expecting something like this. Good Falcons will be loving this, but people who are pretty average on Falcon, maybe a little bit above average on Falcon, they would definitely get like massacred by like a good melee. So I think this will definitely help increase their survivability. The scan radius is something that I personally think should have been bigger, because it feels pretty small, especially relative to your position on the field. It's pretty easy to lose targets sometimes. We'll see how Skyraider is. But overall, I think this one is probably the most like hotly contested one that I've seen people's reactions so far to it. But I don't think it might not be too bad. But that instant damage is probably gonna hurt, especially on a light unit. Sariniths have gotten pretty good cheeky attacks when I play Falcon, and I can say that I'm not too fond of that, but we'll have to see how it actually impacts the remaining part of the season until the next balance changes. We'll see how things happen, but overall, I don't think there's a lot of crazy buffs. It looks like they buffed a lot of energy regen on the ground. This way, by doing that, I think they want to have people to have a more like vertical experience playing mechabreak. Instead of just being landlocked, groundlocked, and things like that, they want people to be able to like move around, maybe do some aerial maneuvers and things like that. That's just kind of like in my head what it would be. If you have more energy, you can be more flashy, you can move around, you have more mobility. So I don't think that's a bad thing. There's a lot of fluid armor changes that they've done to reduce the depletion cooldown on several units. I think that's a very interesting direction that they're going. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. So we'll see what happens. I do like the direction they're going with Aquila, where they're trying to make it more tanky and reduce this damage a bit and give it like the identity of like, this is like the really tanky sniper. I kind of like the direction they're going with that. That's me personally. Anyway, that's it. This is just a very rough checking out the patch notes. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.